All right, hello and welcome to week 10. Holy hell, double digits of the TBD College Football Podcast. My name is Brad Newbeck, and I'm joined always by my guest and good friend Dugan. Dugan, how are we doing tonight?
Doing all right. Got a little World Series on, a little Halloween candy.
Ooh,
We're doing all right now.
Did you have any leftovers?
Dude, we had like four trick-or-treaters, so we have literally the same candy like we bought.
I don't understand. We actually went over to the Gibb household last night to watch a scary movie and hand out candy, and only 2 people came.
What movie?
We watched The Forest with the chick from Game of Thrones.
Never seen Game of Thrones, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, she's fairly attractive. Weird face. Not sure what's going on, but fairly attractive. She is looking for her sister in the suicide forest of Japan. And it's a cool little movie. Slow at the start, but pretty wild ending.
Today's a big candy day. You get a candy 50% off today.
That's true. You buy your candy for next year.
Or for now. I swear I don't like candy. I really don't like sweets. But this week though, I'll eat my year, like my body weight in sweets, and I'll just hate it the rest of the year.
What's your go-to?
I love Butterfingers.
Oh man, same here, man.
And then anything I can get like peanut butter in.
I don't think it's humanly possible not to smile with like a full-size Butterfingers in your hand, like one of those like industrial-sized ones. But it's just so delicious.
I definitely want to get to the point where I give away like real-size candy bars for trick-or-treaters. You know?
Oh man, to be honest, the Newbecks did that one year, and not because we're pretty well off, but my dad carried Mars candy at the ship stores on the carriers. And then every time that they would have like extra pallets or pallets that were dropped, he would bring them home. So it would be full cases of full bars, like full Butterfingers, full Hershey bars, full Kit Kats. And so they'd be broken, but who gives a damn?
Y'all were hood rich that year.
Yeah. And of course, nobody came to our... It's like nobody trick-or-treats.
It was weird. The only people that came with trick-or-treaters were like super young kids, and then we had one group of like 18-year-old kids that we were like, why are you guys still doing this?
Yeah, that should be frowned upon. But let's jump in here.
Good weekend.
Good weekend. Surprisingly, I was bad-mouthing this past week, or at least last Tuesday, just saying, this new line of games. I really didn't think there was going to be much. I thought there were going to be a ton of blowouts, which I kept telling you on Saturday. But it was good to be proven wrong. We'll start off with with some 12 o'clock games here.
We need to put in a disclaimer that we're both watching the World Series. So,
yes, this is true.
Some screams or yells. So, just that disclaimer.
Yeah, so we'll jump off with Michigan State, which I totally thought was just going to be a dud. Obviously, Michigan coming in at 7-0. Michigan State, at Michigan State, which they were 2-5. Obviously, a down year for the Spartans. 0-5 in Big Ten conference play. Not looking good. But this was close for a while, and other than the second quarter, Michigan State kind of held and played with them. But Michigan put up 20 in the second, and there was no coming back from that.
Yeah. First takeaway is that Michigan team is very beatable.
I was sitting there thinking the same thing. If a team 2-5, I'm not going to badmouth the Big Ten, but a 2-5 team, and obviously it's your second game on the road, for Michigan. And so, I thought this was going to be a blowout. I thought it should have been a blowout. Michigan has not impressed me at all. Michigan State has not impressed me at all this year.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I know. I just saw it, too.
Holy crap.
So...
Sorry.
No, it's... It was a decent game. We'll go on. All right, so we'll
very, very, very beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful. Yeah, any takeaways from that? It is that Michigan looks human, and I guess if you're playing them, at home, then good on you.
Yeah, so, that one receiver they have, I forget what his name is right now. He's very, very good, and they have Jake Butt, the All-American. He's really good. But outside of that, I mean, Jabril Powers is good, and that defense does like to run around and kind of blitz you from all around. But I think because they just haven't played a well-rounded team yet, so I think that's going to be very interesting. I mean, that Wisconsin game, it was really close. Wisconsin also didn't have a quarterback at that moment, so it'll be interesting when they play a full-rounded team that can play all three aspects well.
Yeah, some analysts are saying that, Jim still hasn't had his signature win yet. I might, if somebody wanted to argue that Wisconsin win was, because Wisconsin is a very good team. I give them a lot of credit. But of course it was at home, and it was a close game. So again, Michigan, the only takeaway that, they are very human. And I think if you have a somewhat decent quarterback and can move the ball down the field, Michigan is very beautiful. Let's transition to the other, I thought, beatable looking team this week, Washington at Utah. Washington was down at one point in the third in this game. Jake Browning didn't have his greatest game. I don't know if they game planned to keep it on the ground, but Browning went for 12 for 20 and 186 yards, 2 touchdown passes. But at the same time, Washington, it's almost the same game that Michigan State was playing, I thought. Washington just came away looking very beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Very beautiful. They strike me as one of those teams that, that needs, a lot of things predetermined to go their way. So, they have to be playing at home. They have to be doing this. They have to be playing. They seem like they need a lot of things already determined to allow them to win football games, if you know what I mean.
No, I agree.
Yeah, it's just it's not like with Alabama where you could literally play on the move and they'll probably win. But you have to probably play Pacific time in this certain place against that certain style of team, against all that. I don't see them very adaptable and make changes.
No, I would agree. So again, coming away from that, and we'll get into this towards the middle part of this podcast. Obviously, the great hit up the middle. Obviously, the college football playoff committee has released their first rankings, and we'll get into that a little down the road. Let's move on. Close game. Nebraska visiting Wisconsin. This game went to OT, and
sure did.
It was a nail biter to say the least. Nebraska coming out of nowhere, undefeated going into this game, and then obviously Wisconsin having their 2 big games against Michigan and Ohio State, both very close games. So I think we're both in agreement that Wisconsin was definitely a good team going into this, and then another close game for Wisconsin, but they edge it out here in OT.
One of my go ahead. Actually,
no, you're
going first. One of my talking points I wanted to make is, and I see this more in actually college basketball than college football, and the perfect example is Tommy Armstrong. Dude, yeah, he he's been there for 8 years. I'm certain of it. He's been there in Nebraska for so long.
Yeah, he's very tenured. I didn't realize that.
I feel like I've been watching Nebraska games the last 6 years, and Tommy Armstrong's our quarterback, running some weird offense. But I mean, like that's like when that's how I felt with like Fred Van Vliet from Wichita State, Ron Baker, like they were there for like a million years.
Yeah, very.
So unfortunately, that's my only takeaway from the game is that Tommy Armstrong is somehow still in the NCAA. He might be a junior too. Who knows?
It's for Nebraska, it's a team that we didn't know a whole lot about. And then Wisconsin, who, got the 2 losses, and you've got Ohio State and Michigan ahead of you.
That's a big ball girl.
It's tough to consider anybody else from Big Ten to, in the college playoff picture that's now getting narrower and narrower. So, a good game. Nebraska came back in the fourth to tie it up, but again, losing to overtime.
So, and because you're my guy for divisions, so I don't know the divisions. Ohio State, Michigan, Nebraska are all in the same, right?
I believe so. I think
wouldn't that be awesome if Nebraska beats Ohio State and Ohio State beats Michigan? I don't even know what happens there. My head hurts.
I don't know. I mean, Michigan then wins because
why?
Well, they go to the Big Ten because they have the better record. They've only lost once then.
This is Nebraska's first loss.
Yeah.
So if Nebraska beats Ohio State and runs out.
But then if Nebraska's on that side of the bracket, they had to play Michigan too.
Oh, they do?
Yeah. Because Michigan and Ohio State are on the same side. Yeah. So
that's the anarchist in me.
Yeah. No. I love chaos theory. Let's move on. Baylor, Texas. Another game that I just kind of forgot about. Yeah, I sort of forgot about it too, just because we've sort of written off the Big 12, but Baylor was going undefeated, or was undefeated going into this game at Texas.
I'm pretty sure we fired Charlie Strong last podcast.
We did.
Too, and then they apparently won.
Yeah, what was me? Big 12 shot themselves in the foot this weekend, and it obviously, like we said before, in the college football committee, just does not care about Big 12 this year. So again, very good game. Texas edges it out to get back to 500, 2-3 in Big 12 play.
Let me ask you a question. What do you do if you're the AD of Texas? Are you fine with this mediocrity?
No, God, no.
So exactly. So you have to fire Charlie Strong, right?
No, I think so. I'm not. I'd probably give Charlie another year. I'm not freak out and fire him guy. I'm not that guy.
I mean,
but again, it's Texas. And this is one of the questions I had for you towards the middle part of our podcast here is, what job would you rather have, LSU or Texas?
LSU.
What job would you rather have, Notre Dame or Texas?
They both don't have a conference championship, so probably Notre Dame. I can pick my own schedule.
Yeah. So, but Texas is arguably arguably top 5 job in the nation.
And I mean, my 2 answers are like 1A, 1B, and 1C. There's no wrong answer.
Exactly. You can argue either way. But let's move on. Let's go to the biggest cocktail party, Florida.
We should go to one.
Yeah, I would love to. Florida and Georgia playing. Florida coming in at 5-1. Georgia came in at 4-3. Kind of a learning curve for Kirby Smart down there in Georgia this year. But Florida, I watched a good deal of this game and thought, Florida dominated all 4 quarters and really stuck it to a Georgia team that I guess is searching for an identity. I don't know what's going on down there in Athens, but
First year.
Yeah, first year. Again, I'm not a freak out firearm guy, but Georgia was my sleeper in the East this year, and I hate being proven wrong. Let's move on with another.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Right.
Has anybody done like a sneaky or really good job? Then I always mess up his last name. Jack McKeown. Jack. Uh oh. Grand Slam. Holy shit.
Wow.
Has anybody done like a more sneaky good job, Brad? I feel like he gets very disrespected for being in the East. And what was the Alabama game? It was Alabama only beat them in the SEC championship maybe by like 8 or 12.
Yeah, no. It was closer than you'd think.
He's done a really good job.
Yeah, no, it was closer than you think.
And they also lost the running quarterback last year.
I know you hate or dislike the SEC more than I do. Is one way of saying it. But obviously the SEC West has been dominant for a number of years. Florida in the Tebow days were the last time you really saw somebody come out of the East in the SEC. But I feel like for the last couple of years in the SEC championship, you always get that, it's either going to be Auburn or it's either going to be Alabama or it's LSU playing for the championship. And then it's Missouri. And it's like, well, where did that team come from? And last year, obviously his first year at Florida, Florida's in the championship and you're like, where did Florida come from? So
they've been sneaky good.
They've been sneaky good. I mean, 6-1, tough loss at Tennessee, and that comeback victory for the Vols, whose season is taking a turn for the worse. But Florida's stayed strong. Still got the number 14 seed. So let's move on though to.
Do you think they can give them? I mean, I think they can give them a better game, or I don't know. They can. That'll be a fun SEC championship, hopefully.
No, I agree. It's going to be a fun SEC just playing out. Obviously LSU's getting a lot of credit nowadays. The last couple of weeks they're coming on strong. Auburn the same way, in a game that we'll get into. And then you're right, Florida, if they win out, it'll be a hell of a SEC finale. With Texas A&M with that one loss at Alabama. A lot of things could get shaken up. A lot of things. Let us move to Auburn, Ole Miss. This was in Oxford, and I don't know how many times Hugh Freeze can die.
He has to do it again.
He's got to do it again every time he loses.
Just a fake funeral.
Petway.
Hey, how about this Auburn team?
Yeah, Petway, 30 carries for 236 yards.
I mean, they were my sleeper. They were my Iowa this year.
They're your Iowa this year.
They were my Iowa after I realized Northwestern stinks.
Man, oh man. 40-29. I was watching this. This game was out of control early for Ole Miss after the first. I thought Auburn dominated. Just Chad Kelly being Swag Kelly. He did throw for 465 yards, but he was the only offense on the field. And Auburn moves to 6-2. Ole Miss to 3-5. Ew. Your thoughts?
They're dead.
They're dead.
They're dead. This Auburn team is funky though. I like them.
He's good.
They play a lot of defense. They don't turn the ball over too often, and they run with a purpose. And that, especially the way they run the ball, is so much that tires a front seven out in most SECs. But then with this Alabama team, you'll definitely see that they can rotate upwards to 10 guys in that front seven. That are always going to be fresh. That'll be a fun Iron Bowl. I mean, That's one of the better things. Like when that is a really predominant college football rivalry, it only makes college football a trillion times better.
It does. It makes for a fun rivalry.
It's a great. That's a really good because that's always after Thanksgiving. That's after Black Friday.
Yep.
So that'll be a extremely fun game that definitely means something. And in years past, I'm pretty sure Alabama could lose the Iron Bowl and still have a cakewalk in the SEC championship.
That is true.
It'll be interesting with the Auburn team. One loss Auburn, right?
Yeah.
One loss Auburn. We'll see.
No, 2 losses. Sorry.
They have 2?
Yeah.
Who did they lose to?
They remember
that one game that we always forget about.
Yeah. They lost the Clemson at home.
That's the first game of the year.
I forget the second one. Tennessee loses in South Carolina, 21-24. They've lost 3 straight now. Hot seat over there in Old Vol Central.
Knoxville.
Knoxville, you're right. Damn
well, yeah, you saw Jalen Hurts transferring, right?
Yeah.
So he's going to play tight end or wide receiver. He's an idiot. He'll have to sit out a year. I don't think that's the right move, and that's not a good precedent to show your team that after all this bullshit, you're going to do that. That's not cool. I'm not sure I would want him at my school, to be honest with you. So I don't know where he'll go. He'll have to sit out a year as well. So that's another scholarship down the road. I don't think it's a smart move. But yeah, can they fire Butch Davis? I hate Butch Davis.
He looks like not a fun guy to play for.
No, and that it was crazy because the first 5 weeks they were like they were like mini me in Austin Powers. He's like, why won't you die?
Yeah,
and they're just not dying. And
we sit here and we say that now. Imagine if he loses those games.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
Imagine if he loses those games. That's 3-5. That's 3-5 record for Tennessee if they lose that game. And think if they lose to Appalachian State.
Appalachian State, yeah. Virginia Tech doesn't give them the game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean they're not that good.
Let's do some house cleaning before we get to the big game.
House cleaning.
Let's Big 12, like I said, West Virginia, number 10 seed going in, 6-0.
I watch them. I kind of dig them.
Yeah, well, losing 20-37.
Brad, don't say that.
There's no way to go through life.
I really don't like when people say scores the wrong way. I'm sorry.
37-20.
Thank you. It's a huge pet peeve. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Ohio State irks by the smart kids, Northwestern.
Northwestern, my Iowa.
At home. I think Ohio State was down late fourth.
Yeah. They were down like 17-14 or something crazy.
Yeah, so
they just got to. I was using this Duke analogy earlier in earlier episodes. How they just got to win right now, and just figure it out by Michigan / Big Ten / playoffs.
It almost seems like this team is almost like a Clemson team. We'll get to Clemson Florida State here. Is that they just play down to whatever team they're playing. They definitely At least lately.
Isn't it crazy how playing down gets you more hurt than playing up?
That's true.
When you think about it. You lose more games playing down when you shouldn't. I know it's probably a really easy concept, but it blows my mind still.
Hey, space and time. I don't get it either. Louisville, in a close game with the Cavaliers of Virginia,
That was a sweet. That team can literally score in 15 seconds if they want.
It's true. Lamar Jackson is responsible for 4 touchdowns.
God, he's got an arm.
He led the game in rushing and in passing. Heisman all but locked up for that guy.
That's 2 years now where they've had a top 10 team on the ropes, and they score a last-second touchdown with Notre Dame last year.
Yeah, I remember that. That was so crazy. Let's get to our final game of the weekend: Clemson, Florida State.
Oh my God.
Just a shootout and a miraculous comeback for Clemson for them to win it out here in what Jimbo Fisher would say, some controversy. I'll let you take the lead on this one.
Yeah, I was a little wasted at the end of that game, so I kind of have to go back and relive the controversy. If I remember, it was kind of stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was a bad pass interference call.
I believe it was a chop block.
Was it? Oh, yeah, that's right. No, it was a chop block on the run. You're right. You're completely right. So that's on me.
My understanding of the rule was that the guy had to be engaged for it to be considered a chop block, or is that just the pros?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's one of those rules where, like, I would understand if Jimbo would just be a salty Jimbo and it was a bad pass interference call. But I think a chop block is something football guys know. Like, he would know if it was an actual chop block. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, number one takeaway is Dalvin Cook is still a bad man.
Yes, he is.
Dude, on those 2 touchdowns, holy shit. But no, I mean, that's Clemson. Clemson's getting that they won't die syndrome now. NC State had them. Florida State had them.
I don't think that's a good thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's winning is winning, and like Vin Diesel said, win by an inch or a mile. But
oh God, you're mixing in some fast. I like it.
I don't know. This Clemson team obviously has some talented players.
Yeah, they're
a decent defense.
Go on, sorry.
It's just I just haven't been blown away. You stopped Louisville at home, and that impressed me. I'll give them that. You beat Louisville at home where you should have, but and that was a slugfest too. But you won. Again, this is another slugfest where it came down to scoring points at the end of games, and you did it. So my hat's off to them. It's just they looked human.
Yeah, I'm not blown away. I mean, there's only actually been one team that blows me away, and it's the Alabama team, obviously, that has kind of put together a full game or a full that it's just kind of knocked me off my feet and say, oh my gosh, I enjoy this team. This team is very good to watch, very fun to watch. I haven't gotten the thumbs. You get the spurts there, they're going to piece it together for a couple drives or a half. And you're like, yes, it seems I can get by this team. I can see this team making it far, but then they just kind of have these just bonehead kind of plays, and I guess that they're kind of young, but I don't know. Like once again, I feel it's once again kind of a Duke thing where as long as they figure it out by the game time, that they'll be all right, or figure it out by the playoff time.
Yeah, Dabo rallying the troops. But I feel like this time last year, didn't Clemson just have a different feel? Didn't Clemson have the feel like, man, this team's unbeatable?
They're murdering teams, yeah.
This team's unbeatable. Like, I wouldn't want to play this team. And when they got Oklahoma in the playoff, I was like, I don't think it's going to be much of a game.
No.
So, granted, it was a lot closer than I thought it would be. They ended up beating them by 13 or something like that. It's just Clemson doesn't look like the team like last year.
No, I mean last year's team also had Shaq Lawson,
that's true.
Dodd Kid, I think that defense is a lot better than that offense.
Well,
that offense. What's up?
I say I agree with you 100%.
And Mackenzie Alexander, they had a lot of good talent leave that team. But I mean, still there, and they'll be all right. I don't know. I mean, still my answer right now is, anybody. It doesn't matter how good any team is. The rest is bad.
Yeah, no, I would agree, and let's
And it kills me saying that. So.
No, I agree. I hear what you're saying. College committee came out and we've got our first ranking. We got obviously Alabama number 1. I think we can both agree, correct?
Yes.
We are. Clemson gets the second nod. I've been reading on and off here. Why they picked who they were. Clemson, obviously, with a tougher schedule, they thought with Louisville, Clemson, thinking NC State, it's a pretty decent team. Second,
Auburn too.
Oh yeah, Auburn too. Then third, they have a Michigan team, obviously undefeated. Margin of victory earlier on in the season has been humongous. Undefeated team, the Big Ten, give them the nod. Then, we can agree with the top 3, correct? Like, we don't have a problem with it.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4, Texas A&M. If the playoffs started today, Texas A&M would play Alabama in a rematch of last weekend's games, or 2 weekends ago, and then Clemson, Michigan, which would be a great game, I think. But again, I wish the committee would take a different look at it, just at that standpoint. I wish somebody would stand up in the room and be like, listen, if this thing started tomorrow, are we really having a rematch of Alabama's last game? Because they were on the bye this last week. And then, Texas A&M's game from 2 weeks ago.
Well, I don't know if that should be the logic applied. That's definitely this is just like what we had said if, 12-0 Florida plays 12-0 Alabama.
I don't believe the committee when they do that. What they just did. I don't believe if this was, after all the championship games, after all the dust is settled, I don't believe the committee does that. And if all these teams win out, which they can technically,
they can.
I don't think they put them in there. I think they give Washington the nod, who is at number 5, Ohio State 6. I just don't think they do that.
Well, who has Washington played? Just playing devil's advocate.
No, I agree, and that's why the committee, they feel like Texas A&M, like I said, from the articles that I've read from the release of this, is that they feel like Texas A&M's schedule was tougher than Washington's, which, Washington has played some brand name teams, but, kind of a downer year in the Pac-12. And they just got done with a decent Utah team. I don't know. I just thought they would represent four different conferences there. But again, they can be, they can put a Western Michigan team in right now. It really wouldn't matter.
Yeah, and at what point do you slap yourself in the face and say, dude, it's week 7. These don't count. Yeah. No, I agree. Last year, I think you're more. I don't think it should matter which teams are in now. I think people are more. Where does logic? It's a logic standpoint.
No, I agree. It's what they're thinking.
Exactly.
It's how the committee changes every week, or at least members are. I'm sorry, every year. And the committee, and you just trying to wrap your head around how they're going. What's their trend thought? their thought process throughout this whole thing. So I thought it was very interesting. Obviously, me, you could argue being an SEC homer. I was not okay with it. I didn't think that Texas A&M maybe deserved the 5 seed over Ohio State or something like that. Fine for them there, but Washington hasn't lost yet.
Sure have.
So that's that's where I stand on that. What are your thoughts?
I like the committee making a decision like this. If that's, there are going to be teams that go undefeated, but maybe some haven't had the same road. And let's not forget that this A&M team that they have slotted at 4, who's lost the game, was leading 10 minutes into the third quarter against this quote unquote amazing Alabama team at Alabama.
No,
they were a fumble. That fumble literally ruined the entire game. So who's not to say that they could have been the 1 seed and Alabama could have been the 4th. That's a very good Texas A&M team, and I just think that I don't think it's as crazy as people think it is.
I agree. I can see the argument. No problem there.
Absolutely.
It's just I just don't believe them when they say that. I guess that's where I'm coming from. I believe, if it started tomorrow, they weren't, they're not going to leave out an undefeated Pac-12 champ, I guess, that, but at the same time, if it did start tomorrow, that means that these teams have played 11 games, they've won their championships, or they've played in their championship games, and they've won those, obviously, or, all of this is played out, I guess. So, a lot of football to be played. Last year at this time, the first rankings came out. LSU and Alabama were in the top 4. Obviously, LSU and Alabama played that week, and then LSU went on to lose 3 straight. So,
you know what? I'm just being Mr. Conspiracy. I bet you they did this on purpose. No one watches these shows. The viewing for these shows probably stink. So let's make a great first reveal, something stupid, and now we got viewers hooked.
Oh no, I totally agree. I'll always go back and argue that Ohio State getting in that first year, granted they won it, and beat Alabama doing it. It's just that loss to Virginia Tech at home, like. How are you going to argue that loss? That's just to me a bad loss, like a bad Virginia, like a 500 Virginia Tech team at home. So, but Ohio State's Ohio State. Like you're not going to leave them out if you have a chance. So, I get it. It puts people on New Year's Eve in front of the TV, I guess.
Sure. No. Yeah. True. That's also. I was so in love with that at first, but then I realized it kind of stinks.
It does. Like I want to hang out and be a young person. Let's go to this week's games. We're on a little behind on the time. We are getting to it. Florida, Arkansas. And this
Florida, Arkansas. We got Florida -5.5.
All right, we got a 6-1 Florida traveling to Razorback Stadium. Like you said, 5.5 points.
I'm a Florida team. I really like them.
So does that mean you're going to eat the points?
Oh yeah, I really like the Florida team. I'm very willing to eat points with a good defense.
All right. Well, give me the 5, and I will take Arkansas. It doesn't really matter at this point because I think what's my winning percentage? Like 25%.
You're around there. I think you're closer to 500.
Now you're just being nice.
Oh no, I really do.
Let us move to the Big Ten. 8 o'clock.
I lost my pen. Hold on. Where's my pen? Uh-oh. I'll find it. Go on, sorry.
Nebraska Cornhuskers traveling to Ohio State. in Ohio Stadium. Tickets still available for $112. Ohio State is favored by 17.5 points. Dear Lord, that is a lot of points.
Yeah, I hope I didn't write down the wrong one. I'm pretty sure it's just maybe a double take.
Yeah. It's always a fun game. Like, guess the line. I would have guessed like 6.5 points. That's too many points. Ohio State. Give me Nebraska.
Give me Nebraska. Yeah, part of me really wants to say I'm going to pick Nebraska too. But part of me really wants to say that this is another classic Urban Meyer game we just lost. They're coming off. They lost. They played shitty against Northwestern. Now they steamroll a team by 40, but I just don't think that team's Nebraska. I think they win. I think it's probably around 12-14.
Yeah, no. I would agree with you. Let us move on. Florida State.
Washington. Oh, go. Florida State.
Florida State traveling
-6.
-6.
I'm on the Seminoles.
I think so too. I think after a loss like that, I think Jimbo gets the ship in line for the next coach to come in there before he takes his LSU job. And I think they roll on NC State. It's tough because NC State that means that they go to 4-5, and it really doesn't look like a 4-5 team. But
no,
it's.
I mean, tell the kicker that.
Yeah, that's. Oh my God,
that fuckhead
couldn't kick the chair from underneath him to hang himself.
God, I'm still so mad at that kid.
Washington and Cal.
I'm going to pick Washington.
You are going to eat the points.
Yeah, they lost a close game. They're pissed off. They're not in the 4. Let's go hang a 100 spot against Cal and show them why we're going to be the 4th team in the playoff.
All right. I'm going to have to go the other direction here. I think it's too many points against a California team that has something to prove. I don't know. I just love to see Washington lose.
No, I'm right there with you. I mean, I'm kind of hedging I'm emotional.
Yeah.
Hedging here.
Washington looked human on the road at Utah. They're on the road again this week. So, yeah, I'll keep going with the same sentiment here. Now we get to, I guess there was a Florida State, NC State had a lower line. But Alabama travels to Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge.
Interim ed.
Primetime CBS game. I don't think it's happened yet this year.
No,
Vern's going to have to stay up late.
Oh, man, it's a night game. Oh, God.
Yeah. 76 degrees, though. That's not bad.
It might be a stay in and watch football weekend.
I think all the games that we've gone over are literally 8 o'clock games.
God damn.
But
damn.
Alabama, obviously, looking super.
I'm jumping on LSU.
You're taking the points.
7.5 interim ed night game. They probably got a new Tiger after the old one died. Yeah.
Wrong Tiger died.
Yeah, they got to christen the new Bengal.
I'll agree. I think Alabama wins, but I think it's a close game. I think it might be a field goal. God, I'm saying that, aren't I? It might be a field goal late for Alabama.
Jason Hayward, good play.
But, so yeah, that's what we got this week. Should be an interesting packet of games here. I will say this, though, and I'll go back to the point we made earlier about the college football rankings. Everybody in the top 4 right now could win out and have no change in the top 4, theoretically. Texas A&M will not have to play a conference championship, which means one less game. But it's and I think they still have to play LSU though. But I mean, like I said, they still have a game to. Everybody could win out. So we'll see if the committee holds true. We'll see what they do next week. But in the meantime, any closing notes?
No, I think we're at It's been a really good season so far. A lot of big games that are going to be happening next week. It's also Pittsburgh Steelers week, which is a good week always around here.
Yeah, I saw Big Ben might be playing in that.
Yeah, if you have to go against the Steelers, you'll always learn that's probably when he's playing the most. That's probably the most likely he's playing is when he shouldn't be playing.
That's true.
You just think, oh God, he's gonna. But no, I was reading something that I think Big Ben has missed something like 20 games in his career, 12 of which have been against the AFC North, or maybe it's 12. He's missed 12 Ravens games or something. They always seem to miss them or something. I forget what the stat is. 12 seems too much, but Ben has missed a lot of games. Charlie Batts, Landry Jones, Mike Vick played against us. I just feel like every other year he's missing a game.
Mike Vick.
Which I'm not complaining because winner of that game gets first place thanks to the Bengals tying.
The Skins.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
All of the ties, I think, this year are due to crappy special teams.
That's why you get Justin Tucker.
In overtime, yeah, that's why you pay him a lot of money.
But the last thing I'll leave us with is I read it was 1997, last time there were 2 NFL ties. You know what else happened that year?
The Ravens' first year?
The Indians lost in 7.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, think about that.
Ow, my head hurts.
There you go. Well, hey, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Cleveland's on the board. Yeah,
they're on the board, 2nd and 3rd right now.
Yeah, all right. Let me switch over, and you have a good evening.
Take care, Bradley.
You too.